But the three contracts that are significant are the Derek Carr, Daniel Jones, and Geno Smith. And then obviously Lamar got franchise tagged, and the Ravens are kind of letting him test his theory in free agency as to whether or not he can actually get paid $1 bajillion.
Which is now not working out so far.
It just happened. What do you?
There's been a
Well, have
bunch
you
of
been on
news that
Twitter in
teams
the-
are out.
I only saw the Falcons. Who else is out?
It's like 4 or 5
Everyone.
different
They're all
teams.
colluding. Let's start with that. Every owner got together and they said, we're not giving out guaranteed contracts. We just don't want to do that. With that's a slippery slope. It makes us all look worse if that happens and teams or players don't live up to it. There is just no way a 26-year-old quarterback who has a career record of what? He's like 46-12 in his career. Like all he does is like win games. He hits the market, and all you have to do is give him an offer, right? Like, because the Ravens will probably match it if you give them the offer. Probably. They have to beat what, 1 year, $32 million? That's not even Geno Smith money. They just have to make an offer bigger than that, and they won't. None of them are even they're not even gonna try. They're not even gonna try to give an offer. I think that's incredibly suspicious.
That is a little suspicious. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, we've talked about what would Lamar do for like the Falcons? Like what do the Falcons do if they're just like, well, the rest of the team stinks. At least we have Lamar Jackson though, and we can't afford to now build an actual team because we have to pay this superstar quarterback.
Well, I mean, to be like a lot, it's a lot of money what he's asking for, but they don't have to offer him what he's asking for right away. Like, where is the teams that are like just going to offer him like Kyler money, maybe even a little bit above Kyler money, to say like you cannot build the rest of the roster out? Like, yeah, you're playing on hard mode now, but you could still like draft people, and you could still like sign people, like to not even for all the teams to instantly just be like, I have no interest in this guy. Very, very strange to me.
Yeah. Well, if they were colluding not to give him a fully guaranteed contract, couldn't they do that anyway and just like still offer him the Kyler money? Why would they have to be out on him entirely?
I don't know. I just feel like it's I guess I don't know, but it just feels strange that all of them are instantly like, I have just no interest in this quarterback who is essentially hitting free agency. And yes, the Ravens could match their offer, but that just is like takes less risk off their plate. Like they could just offer the deal. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like, where is the risk here to just be like, I think people are doing their jobs extremely poorly if they're not even going to like throw something at him. Just be like, yeah, that's absolutely not what we're interested in. I just don't feel like that's a football decision. Like people do their jobs. Like you said with Rodgers, right? You're going to make a call. You're going to like explore your option. Like these people are like Lamar hit the open market sort of like an hour ago, and already they've made up their mind. Like there's just no way that we'll pursue this opportunity. I think it's very weird.
I think like, okay, that is a little weird, but I don't know if I'm going as far to assume that it's collusion. Like, because even if it was collusion for the sake of not giving a guy a guaranteed contract, which has happened before several times, and I would point to the fact that the Browns offering Watson a guaranteed contract after teams had planned for like a year to try to go after Watson, ended it immediately. That was it. Totally done in a day. It was over.
Yeah.
But with collusion, it's like you could still go and offer him that contract. So the question is, okay, yeah, well, why are teams doing this? Well, it's certainly not because they're all just stupid morons. That can't be it. So what do you think the reason is? I almost wonder if like maybe they don't want to work to open up all the cap space for if Lamar can just get matched.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can go over the cap. You just have to free it up later, right? Like you're allowed to go over it and then work out the rest following it. But I mean, I guess you're right that like maybe they just don't have the money and it wasn't in their plans, so it wasn't in their plans. But I don't know. But I feel like it would take me longer to figure that out. Like after I learned that there was a shot at Lamar, would I just immediately be like, no, no, no? Like it would take. I'd take like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to think about it. Like, is there any way we could get this done, guys? You know, and maybe they already had those conversations and they said, but that I think is part of it. And I think like, and maybe it's not collusion. I don't know if all the owners got together in a shadowy meeting and said like, Lamar is going to hit free agency. None of you guys better offer him a deal. But what I do think is like the owners are just very, very, very anti guaranteed money. And I think the Ravens, like in league circles, they know like the Ravens told people like, hey, he's looking for more than Watson got guaranteed. And then maybe individually, all the owners were like, no way. But I do think that this is more of a owner's decision than a GM or a coach's decision. I feel like there's a lot of coaches out there who would be interested in bringing Lamar into their building. I mean, I think his record speaks for itself. Like offenses led by Lamar are typically very good, and typically they win a lot of games. So I don't know. That's just my take on it. I cannot remember this ever happening before where a guy hits free agency or there's an opportunity to throw an offer sheet at a guy and immediately every single quarterback needy team in the league is just like, no. It's just very strange.
What would be the other examples?
There aren't any. I don't think there.
Well, no, but talking... like what are the other examples of a Lamar Jackson situation happening?
Like no other big quarterbacks like this really hit free agency. I think.
Yeah, I mean, in all my years of watching the NFL, no former MVP quarterback who's 26-year-old and his own agent asking for the most guaranteed money ever has ever hit free agency and then teams been out on it. Well, that's because it's never ever happened before, in my opinion. And I don't think collusion is impossible. I really don't. But I'm also open to hearing the idea that, well, if Watson's deal got done, like if that was just a instant out for everybody except for the Browns last year, I think it is not that crazy to think that it could be an instant out for people with Lamar.
Well, the Browns were out last year too. The Browns were rumored to be out, and then at the very last second, they got the deal done.
And that was Haslam going in there. And I think all the other owners, they don't want to give him this big money. Now, you can offer Lamar Jackson a Kyler Murray contract, but I wonder if the problem is that he's not accepting it because he wants fully guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess I just, like, I get the logic of not signing him to that much money. I just don't get the logic of just being out, like, not exploring, like, hey, especially, like, Miami. Like, maybe there's less state tax in Florida. He's from Florida. Like, you're really not going to maybe say, like, hey, would you take something a little less? Or, it just doesn't make any sense that they're just all completely out on it.
I agree. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think I can say, well, then they're obviously colluding. Because it doesn't make any sense. Collusion... It makes me think there's something we don't know. What it is, I have no clue.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have also been talking recently about Lamar's not having an agent and how significant of a deal that is. I don't know how much it matters that he doesn't have an agent, but I feel like teams have to tell Lamar to his face that he is not worth $260 million guaranteed.
Well,
and I wonder... Right. And I wonder if it's like, well, maybe if you had, a middleman, someone else to handle that, if he could be a little bit more, I don't know if it would be more assertive, but I feel like there's a reason why Daniel Jones' agent got that deal done. Because Daniel Jones didn't deserve $40 million a year. And yeah,
Well,
it's only like 84 guaranteed. But it's
yeah, I
like,
mean, an agent. I think an agent would definitely change the dynamic, but like every team would sign Lamar to Daniel Jones's deal.
right. But in terms of like getting more for your worth.
Yeah,
Like,
I could maybe see the possibility that teams just would respect an agent more than they respect dealing with Lamar himself.
yeah.
Because an agent
That
is
might be the
professional,
right.
is a professional deal maker. So it's probably easier to get a deal done when there's a professional deal maker around. So yeah, I don't know. It's a strange situation that's still kind of falling. Personally, would I if I were a team like Detroit, who is not specifically out on Lamar yet, that's one team that I think he could still go to. Or Washington, I think I would. I don't think I would be so quick to say no, to say no way. That's all I gotta say. Like, I get that's a lot of money, but if I was, I mean, it would instantly make you a playoff team if you were an NFC team. I think like Lamar just by himself makes you if you are a competent coach and a competent play designer, like Lamar can instantly make you a playoff team just like that. So I think that's what he's always been doing for the Ravens.
Yeah.
I think that it's so Lamar centric, and he has a very well designed running game in his career, and that's been definitely utilized to its fullest extent. But I even think his passing is underutilized. He definitely can do it better at it than a lot of people give him credit for. I think that he is very, 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 very valuable, and not just his MVP year, but in all the years since.
The
So
other argument against Lamar would of course be, well, the past 2 seasons you've missed 7 games.
yeah, and that's valid.
So that could be the other concern, but I think if I'm Lamar, I'm saying, dog, when I've missed time, you have been awful. It's like the offense has completely folded.
Yeah, I think I would say that too.
That's what I'm like, what? It's
I don't
like,
even
you
think
need me, dog.
well, I don't know, a fully guaranteed contract to a guy who's missed half a season 2 years in a row, and absolutely no team wants to touch it, and he's his own agent, and the Ravens weren't able to get a deal done. I think this is very much where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't think this is just every team being crazy and or evil.
I think it's crazy to be out so soon. I think it's crazy to be out so soon. I don't I think it's crazy not to offer him something. And even if he says no, and if he doesn't sign it, he doesn't sign it. But I would for sure be badgering him with like Kyler Murray level offers. Especially if I was the Dolphins. I would say come to Florida where there's no
Bro.
sales tax.
The Dolphins being out to me is that's the crazy one. I thought like that would like maybe them and like Theo. I think you said the Lions was another team you thought.
Yeah, I think the Lions could maybe do it. Because they'd have a ton of cap space. They could cut Daniel Jones right now, and I think they'd save $21 million. And they already have, they're already ninth in the league in cap. Like, they could take that on. If I was the Lions, like, why not? That division is a lock if I had Lamar Jackson, and the NFC, like, instantly become a contender. Like, just like that overnight, instead of just, like, fun
Your
team.
defense would still suck, but you cross that bridge when you get to it.
You cross it, yeah. So I don't know. Like, I get it. I get why the Ravens couldn't come to a deal. I don't think Lamar maybe at the end of the day won't get what he's asking for. But when that tag got put on him, I thought we're gonna see a bidding war. We're gonna see it's gonna start low and it's gonna go higher and higher and higher and higher. And because why not, right? Like, why not do it? And maybe it doesn't get to that height that he wants it to get at. And maybe that's just the world that he'll have to live in. But the fact that there's just no bids, I don't know.
What do you think the reason for that is then?
I think it's because of the guaranteed money. I think it's because the owners they said we are going to teach agents and players a lesson. Don't come to us asking for 250 million guaranteed, because it will get swatted back at you so fast you won't even be able to believe it. You could be Lamar Jackson asking for that much money, and you're like instantly everybody's saying no. So in the future, like, agents aren't going to view that as a legitimate possibility, because all of a sudden you're just getting like flat out rejected. It's sending a very strong message, and I think that's what they want. But who knows?
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough for Lamar right now, but the other quarterbacks that got paid are probably feeling pretty good, maybe except for Geno, who kind of got the lesser of the deals, despite probably being the best of the three between him, Derek Carr, and Daniel Jones. Kind of surprised that he got so little, despite the season he had last year.
Yeah, I mean the Derek Carr deal is wonderful and awesome. The Saints are just dumb team, I fear.
They are addicted to being mid, dude.
Mickey Loomis sucks. He is
they
so
heaven and
bad.
earth. Like last year trading up, like like I get it for like Trevor Penning too. They needed the 2 first-round picks. They needed to trade up
Hey,
once
he'll be
the
back
draft
this
started.
year, though.
Like Derek Carr is so like bad, dude. Like that guy, I've become so anti Derek Carr pilled. Like Derek Carr is ass, in my opinion. I saw his record when the defense allows like less than 21 points. Mahomes' record in those situations, or I can't remember the exact set, but like in those situations, like Mahomes is like 52-1, and like Rodgers is like 78-10, and like Derek Carr is at like 500. Man, that guy, he has bad footwork and he cannot create. So it's like, what do you do? Exactly.
He's got a big arm, so let him cook.
He's got he's got an arm. He can make all the throws. He's just not like all of a sudden Derek Carr is going to, who has never won a playoff game. He's at like 1 winning record ever. He's led like very mid offenses most of his career. He's got very real problems, even technically at age what?
31.
31. Like okay, I'll stop saying like. He is mid. He is certified mid, and
You're gonna make me
Dalton
cry,
is
Theo.
mid. Dalton can't create, but Dalton was like a solid pocket passer last year without a high ceiling. Fine player. Derek Carr is going to be the exact same thing. You just got the same thing over again. You're not winning the Super Bowl with Derek Carr. I'm sorry, and this roster. Everyone on your defense, 30 years old or above.
Well, you know what?
But
But the salary cap isn't real. I said I have to keep all of my terrible aging veterans forever because they have 9,000 void years attached to them. Yeah, dude, it's wonderful, man. I mean, it'll never catch up with them except they're headed towards their 3rd straight losing season. So it seems like it absolutely has. But they should did a restructuring of the contract Houdini Act on a banner and hang it in the Metrodome. Or the Superdome, I mean, or whatever the hell it is.
Got out of cap hell.
Can't wait for the Michael Thomas $60 million cap hit next year.
Oh, and we're gonna cut him before that hits. Aren't we so amazing? No.
Remember when I said the Saints would go 0-17? When's that gonna happen?
Never, because they're committed. They will do anything in their power to get to 7 wins. It will never be bad enough to go 0-16 or 0-17 or whatever it is. Like they just will not allow that to happen. They will spend as much money as it takes to become like a somewhat competent franchise. Which this is, I think Mina Kimes tweeted something like this. Like she's like, I guess I respect their commitment to not being terrible and like putting a competent product out on the field as a fan. And like, sure, but like at the same time, it's okay to like cut bait with some veterans or just take a year to rebuild or like reset your timeline, but they just do not. They do
Saints
not
all in on 8 and 9. It's just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, they saw me say they'd go winless, and they were like, "We'll show him."
We'll never win less than 6 games, but
One
yeah.
more than that.
So true.
But
How
yeah,
did
Carr, it's they're gonna be fine. They're gonna probably be all right. It's just like they're not gonna be a team that you go up against and say like, oh, free win. But are they gonna win the Super Bowl? Are they gonna go up against the San Francisco 49? Like Demario Davis is like 35.
yeah.
Cameron Jordan is like 35. How old is Tyrann Mathieu? You know, it's just an old defense. So I
really
just
old.
don't think that they're quite good enough anywhere to really win it.
They have Chris Olave though.
They do have Chris Olave.
Let's see who else. It was Derek or not Derek. We just talked about Derek Carter. Daniel Jones was the other guy, and like I said, I just cannot believe that deal got done. I can't believe that happened. The Lions have to be like scared.
Well,
like they have to draft a quarterback now, right? Like,
Well, Goff is getting paid $33 million right now.
is it 33? I thought it was less than that.
So I mean, like, it would be a little bit of an upgrade, but I don't think it'd be that much.
Okay.
honestly, the deal's not that bad.
You don't think so?
Why do you think it is that bad? You think it's a disaster?
It's not. I mean, okay, I guess it's not a disaster, but like, real Daniel Jones is not worth even unguaranteed 40
I'd
million.
agree with that.
Year.
It is an overpay.
Like,
it is an overpay. But I guess when the deal came down, I thought about it like, well, let's say they didn't sign him. Like, I don't know. Like who like what's the plan then, you know? They have an out in 2 years. That's what I'm thinking. Like, this deal is very front loaded, like the Geno deal. So they've basically locked themselves in for probably a year or two, probably 2 years of Daniel Jones. And I guess the option would have been just cutting him just straight up point blank period. Just like saying, no, we're not giving him any kind of deal. We're going to let him walk. And then like, I guess I just wonder, like, for the next 2 years, what would your option be if it's not Daniel Jones? Because they probably aren't going to trade up into the top 5. Like, that would take a lot of resources. Maybe it would be worth it if you get Anthony Richardson and pair him with Dable. I really think that would have been great. You still probably could do that, to be completely honest with you, because he could use a little bit of time to develop behind Jones. So that's still something that's on the table. But without Jones, you would have to start Richardson immediately, or start whoever you draft immediately, give up all this draft capital. It just is like, okay, so then you've got no one at quarterback, unless you're signing like Brissett, I guess.
right.
And then what is then the plan would be, okay, well, we didn't spend on the quarterback. Could we build a super team then? Like a great roster. Who are the wide receivers to sign? Where are the tight ends to sign? There aren't any good ones in the free agency. So it's like, this idea that they will no longer be able to build this, like, with if they didn't give Daniel Jones the deal, they would have been able to build this great roster. That, I guess, now that I see the deal, and it's not a massive overplay, if they would have, if it was a backloaded deal, and like they were really locked in to Daniel Jones for 4 years, I'd say it's bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like 2 years, and like what else? They got to do something. They're still like top 5 in cap space, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an overpay. I think I would have liked to have gotten him for less, but like, I just don't see the like other option that was like, oh, that was right there for you. Like with the Saints and Carr.
Not win this many games this season. Win less games this season. That was the path, I'm afraid.
And they need to win as many or more because they're not in the same space that the Saints are at. The Saints could have totally just not signed any quarterback and sucked, and everyone would have understood. Everyone would have been like, okay,
yeah,
you've been mid for this long. Your cap situation is terrible. It's, there's the chance of Caleb Williams if you're really ass. Like, I get it. Let's reset the timeline. The Giants don't quite have the same timeline. Like, they're supposed to be pretty good. Like, last year kind of set the floor in terms of the offense, not in terms of where they ended up going the second round of the playoffs, but overall negative 6 point differential for the year, like pretty average offense. That's the floor. Like they need to get better. So I don't know. They should re-sign Galladay.
Yeah,
That
re-sign
would be a hell of a
Galladay.
move.
Yeah, the problem they're gonna be fine on cap. Leonard Williams, if you can move on
Yeah,
from
cut
like
him
Leonard
and cut
Williams and
Galladay, and
cut
you're
Galladay,
rolling.
that saves you like $21 million, like right
And
away.
they're already fifth in cap space right now. So it's like they could still build a good roster. Like, I don't know. It's not a terrible move. I'd rather have Lamar.
Just get
Rather
ready
Lamar
next year.
Jackson.
It's gonna be, oh, we signed so and so and so and so and so and so. We definitely got better, and we won 9 games last year. How do we not win 12? How does that not
For the
happen?
Giants?
That's you're gonna hear that this offseason, I promise you. Literal guarantee.
Yeah, it's definitely. But that's the expectation, and they've got to meet that expectation. Otherwise, everybody's in trouble, right?
This
like,
is 4-seed Knicks, Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals type of run, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but I think they'll still have the chance to build something actually real pretty soon. I just don't know, like,
Maybe.
this offseason, what the other options were that were great. I don't know. It's not a good deal. I'm not saying that
you also have to question from the perspective of like, okay, let's say they don't, right, Matt? They don't hit this 12-win threshold that, Giants fans are going to want. Well, it's like, okay, now all of a sudden, is Dable in question? Is this coaching staff now on the hot seat? Do they have to make something happen in one off season? Or is there an expectation in that building that, listen, this is not the long-term solution. I just need more time for guys to become available to me so that I can actually build a competent team, right? And it's like at the end of this 2-year deal with Daniel Jones, we'll have an opportunity. We will have had an opportunity to bring in a quarterback to actually build behind if we don't love Daniel Jones as our guy. And we can get some more receivers in the building. We can, continue to bolster up the offensive line, continue to bolster up the defense. Or if that understanding's not there, then you're basically screwing yourself. And you're like, well, it didn't work. Time to do it. Trying to start over. And I don't know if that made any sense, but
I didn't quite pick it up.
if Daniel Jones doesn't, if at the end of this 2 years, right, are the Giants going to say, okay, that didn't work. We have a plan in place though, in case this didn't work. We have a quarterback like that we drafted that we like next year, right? We were able to get some receivers over the past couple of years, and 2 years from now we can get some more guys in the off season.
I think their plan right now is that Daniel Jones is going to be good and play the contract. Like, I don't think they're like, oh, we just need to survive the next 2 years with mid, and then 2 years.
But that's
fine. I think they've built in a solution for themselves where, like, look, it was just 1 year. The results weren't that good, but at the same time, this is kind of the floor of the offense because Daniel Jones has never truly had a good team around him ever. Right. The best wide receiver he's ever played with is one game of Kadarius Toney and Hodges. So I think they kind of have built in both sides of the argument where, like, yeah, Daniel Jones doesn't actually deserve a 4-year, like, long-term, like 4 years is an eternity in the NFL. Like, coaches will get hired and fired.
That's what I'm saying.
Hired and fired again in 4 years. From now,
you could,
so like an actual 4-year deal would be a bad move. But they were like, okay, we'll give you the deal here, the long-term deal that you want. But really it's only 2 unless you play well. And then if you play well, then we get you for 2 years on a deal that will age incredibly well. And I do think there's a chance, like, I don't think it's a chance that is more likely than the chance that Daniel Jones continues to be mid. But there is a chance with actual good players around him, the deal actually ends up looking okay because the Giants are in the playoffs again, or, he's top 10 in efficiency, like Tannehill or something like that. And all these other quarterback deals continue to get handed down or whatever it is. and he's has like no cap hit or no guaranteed money or whatever it is like later in the deal. So I don't know. It just would have been tough to let him walk. Like the Giants just didn't have much leverage here to just say, nope, we're not bringing you back in any capacity. We're not signing you to a franchise tag. We're not signing you to a new deal. We're not signing you because they just have no backup plan. There's no one out there. Like who's better, Daniel Jones or Jimmy Garoppolo? Probably Daniel Jones.
You know who's better?
Like who's
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
They had the
Lamar
money.
Jackson,
If anyone would have had the money for it.
yeah, that is true. Lamar may have been the option there, but yeah, I guess that is true. But that's about it. Or maybe Rodgers, but I don't know if Rodgers.
You're 40.
Timeline. Rodgers doesn't fit their timeline at all because then you're just adding Rodgers to a very mid roster overall, and like.
And I'm sure he would have. I'm sure he would have been a joy to work with in that situation.
Yeah. That would have been Rodgers just needed. Well. Yeah, he just needed Saquon to win a Super Bowl, but and then the Barkley tag. I feel the same way about the Barkley tag as I do the Jones thing. It's like $10 million for a running back is whatever. Like maybe not the most efficient way you could spend your money, but like what else are you spending it on? Like you need weapons for Daniel Jones. It's a mid wide receiver draft. It's a mid wide receiver free agency. It's like. What do you what weapon are you getting if not Saquon?
Okay, let me ask you this. Would you have preferred the Giants do what they did, which is extend Daniel Jones, tag Saquon, or the reverse, which is extend Saquon, tag Daniel Jones, or let Saquon walk?
It's about the same. I don't know.
I think it's about the same. I mean, a long-term extension. Yeah, I think Saquon's a better running back than Daniel Jones as a quarterback, so maybe I would have rather extended Saquon and tagged Jones, but I don't know. Taking Saquon is infinitely better than extending Daniel Jones. Like, yeah, sure. But I don't know. I just think there's just not that many other places to spend all this money. Like cap space that is just sitting there doesn't do anything. Yeah. And there's only so much you can spend. Like they could maybe bring in a whole team and make a free agent all-star team. But I just don't think that, like, yeah, Daniel Jones is mid and Saquon Barkley's a running back. But like, I just don't understand. I haven't heard or seen an alternate except for maybe Lamar, like throwing a huge contract at him to take yourself over the top. But then again, you're paying Lamar all this money, and you're in the same situation as the Ravens were, except your offensive line is worse, and your defense is also worse.
Right.
But he wouldn't even have Mark Andrews.
But the read option with Lamar and Saquon would go crazy.
Hey, Dabo would design something sick. That's no doubt. But, like, is that a Super Bowl roster? Like, I don't know. But it would be a pretty good one in the NFC.
I think it would be fun to watch. Lamar and Saquon. I would enjoy that. Theo is.
Now, speaking of running back contracts, I think Tony Pollard getting a franchise tag is hilarious, man. That's so funny to me. The Cowboys are like that one drill budgeting tweet. Please tell me where all my cap space went. I'm trying my best. And it's like $400 million on running backs. Oh my God. It's. Yeah. And Pollard's coming off of, what is he coming off of again? Like a major injury.
Did he suffer a major injury?
Yes. Yes, he did. Did he not?
I thought he got hurt. I don't know if it was like.
I thought it was like a kind of like a big injury. I remember thinking at the time, like, oh man.
The tailback broke his left leg and suffered a high ankle sprain.
That's right. In the 49ers game.
Broke his leg.
I forgot about that.
So they're going to be paying. They're doing it again. You can't stop Jerry Jones, man. I mean, and I like Pollard a lot, and I kind of get like, but you can't even move on from Zeke, and you're going to pay Pollard too, who's coming off a broken leg.
They're going to draft Bijan too.
And people are talking about like, oh, they should draft Bijan Robinson at 26. No, no, they shouldn't draft him.
I just really don't know who the hell is drafting Bijan in the first. I see like, oh man, he's going top 10 guys.
You muted yourself. Or
I'm sure he's spitting, but
damn.
he's still going. Theo, we can't hear you.
He is
I had to get
talented.
it.
He's one of the better overall players in the class, Bijan Robinson. But I'm like going through a mock. I'm like, who is taking him? Like dead at the Vikings could use him if they move on from Cook. They would never draft an running back in the first round. Like they hired the most like analytically inclined GM that there is. Like who is going for this? People are like, oh, the Bears will trade back. Imagine if the Bears got the number 1 overall pick and walked away with a running back. Like I I just don't think that's what's going to happen. I cannot wrap my head around him going in the top half of the first round. Maybe the Lions later. Like I've seen some people say like Atlanta or Philly. Philly has never drafted a running back in the first round, like ever. That's not what they do.
I also see a lot of people saying the Eagles are going to trade for Derrick Henry, which
like no. They understand. Like they know.
Not when the Cowboys get to him first.
The Cowboys are going to have Zeke Elliott, Derrick Henry,
I think that
and
actually
Tony
pretty funny.
Pollard.
Here's my Cowboys offseason plan.
Bro, the Cowboys have negative $18 million in cap. What the hell are they going to do?
There's like a million running backs to go get this year. It just doesn't make sense.
Talk about Joe Mixon. That guy is not going to be playing running back in the league next year because he's a terrible person, which we've known for a long time, honestly.
Derrick Henry will be a Bengal. He is a Cincinnati Bengal.
I kind of don't think he's going to get traded. Because
it's possible.
I think they're going to want to. I just don't think that a 9-year-old running back at this point with a ton of tread on his tires is going to demand like enough for the Titans to move off of him. I think they're looking for the McCaffrey deal. I think they would be open to trading him for enough money for like enough picks. I just don't think it's happening because you kind of need to build around Derrick Henry. Like he's not really a receiving back. He's not even really as good of a blocker as you'd expect. He's someone who he's very good when like if there's a hole or a crease, watch out because he hits it hard and he's a giant, he's a tank, and he's very hard to stop once he gets going. But he's not really someone that just fits into an offense and just enhances it right away if he's not getting the ball like coming downhill.
And it's just paying for a 30-year-old running back is just like that's the classic. Don't do that.
Right. I just don't know what team would really become a contender with Derrick Henry like that isn't already just a contender. I don't know. Bengals give up a second for Henry. I guess I wouldn't hate it.
I think Cincinnati makes sense.
Like, why does Cincinnati need to lose? Well, they have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and they have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and like they should be running the football like not that much.
It's a 1-year rental.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, so giving
up
a second for a 1-year rental running back because he either is bad or he's good and then you can't pay him.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just think if you're the Titans, here's what I would do. Like, you've got 1 year left on Tannehill's deal, 1 year left on Derrick Henry's deal. You're probably not getting the draft capital you want for Henry. You've made it this far. I know that I was a big Titans run it, like, blow it up guy during the season, and now that it's here, I mean, if they get the right stuff, like, do it. But I kind of think they won't, and you might as well run it back. It's one more year, and then you get comp picks for them when they hit free agency.
Well, how many comp picks would you realistically get for Henry? Like a fifth?
Would you get a fifth? I think. Well, it depends on where he goes.
He's not going to get that big of a deal is the problem. And even then, to limit yourself in free agency for the sake of the Henry fit, I think if you could trade him for whatever you'd get comp-wise, he's just not going to make enough money to be worth that third, which is really where he needs to be. So I kind of, and it's like if you blowing it up depends on whether or not you can get a like big deal for your running back. I don't know what to tell you, man. It ain't 1970. I agree the Titans have made it work to an extent, but like, dude, come on.
They don't really even need the money either. They have some decent money right now. You get off Tannehill, like, dog, just end it. It's over. Like,
Run a Navy triple option offense with
That's what
Malik
I'm saying.
Willis and
Willis.
Derrick Henry.
Here's what I'm doing if I'm them. They've got one hope. And that hope, I'm drafting Darnell Washington, first of all. I'm getting in 12 personnel, and I'm just running, like, we've got Henry for one more year. He's going to retire
I'm going
after
to
this
train
draft.
Darnell Washington to be a running back now with Derrick Henry teaching him. And
Oh!
then I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm extending Tannehill. And we're
extending
we're going to let it ride, baby.
Extending Tannehill is crazy. Oh, my mom keeps texting me that I need to send her a list of like my favorite artists for a DJ for my grad party.
Mm-hmm.
She's been bugging me about it all day, and I'm like, well,
Are you going to put yourself on there?
no, I am not putting myself on an artist list for my grad party. That's a terrible idea.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Is that really like totally beyond you?
Yes.
I don't know, man. It's worth asking. We went to Vegas one time. The album had just released. We went to Vegas for Summer League. We were in an Airbnb with two people we had never ever met before. Paris and I think Henry was that.
It was Henry.
Paris and
Henry.
Henry.
People who Blaiden was not familiar with. People who we did not have never met before. They were Blue Wire people. And I walked in the door, and Blaiden was playing his album on repeat, just as the ambiance for the Airbnb, which is two strangers. Don't know.
No, I'm not gonna put myself. There's just too many artists that I like for me to like narrow it down to like
the artists you like too. That could be a crazy. I'd just let the DJ cook, because if they ask me that, like, I don't like DJ artists, like songs that would be playing at a party. Because like, who are your favorite artists? I'd say like
it's like, well, it's gonna be like Elton John, Gary Moore, BB King.
Does this see like those are all good picks?
Yeah,
but do they all combine to like a party DJ playlist? You
well,
know?
okay, it's like family, right? So it's like we don't need like Meek Mill up in here, like.
But I guess if you're gonna do that, why not just build a playlist, like on Spotify, not hire a DJ, and just have those songs on shuffle? If you're
That's
not
true.
like,
A DJ
doing
for a family party is, I don't know. I guess I've never done that.
This is my mom we're talking about here.
I can't hate. No disrespect.
But I would say if you're gonna pay for a DJ, I'd let the DJ do his job instead of like you have to mix BB King and then have it go down. Well, I guess maybe that's why you
Queen
pay
Queen to the Stone Age and
yeah,
pre 2015 Muse.
I just don't know if DJs
Muse before
like,
they became a metal band.
David Bowie. Yeah, I'd be like
yeah, throw in
MF Doom going into some Phoebe.
Yeah,
Bridgers
just wait. I didn't even get into like Lil Wayne and Jay-Z. Now all of a sudden, it's like how do you get you gotta go from Mean and Evil by BB King to like Threat by Jay-Z. Like what?
DJ, be sure to when you're mixing your set here, be sure to put in lots of Ways Blood and Farewell Transmission into Dial-It. That would be. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would tell her in that situation. Would I just tell him my favorite artists, or would I tell him artists that I think a DJ could realistically do something with? I guess that's
the problem. But then also it's like, I also have to find songs. I have to find like artists that like my family can listen. Like, because I'm not gonna
right.
Because like
this is all on the DJ. No,
that's what I'm saying. Like, why is this? This is not my job.
To hell with the DJ. they can figure it out. If they can't get Hollow Body and Elton John to mesh
We are
together
not
properly,
playing Hollow
that's
Body.
on them.
We are not playing Hollow Body at my grad party.
What if we do your vocals
Yes, we
over
are.
like a different beat? You know, like all the Ice Spice sounds.
Yeah, your
backwards
vocals, but over
Video
like
Killed
some
the
like
Radio
calmer, like
Star.
elevator music.
What if
for
they
your
made it a
family.
little bit more club friendly?
We're doing Blaiden Kirk covers of all of
Just
Blaiden
send him the
Kirk's
raw
favorite
audio
artists.
files.
Yeah,
Your
he'll
songs
mix up
and
something
how to
nice.
make
Don't
it
worry.
work.
I do still have the raw audio files. I could do that, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, just send them over.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea.
What's Theo's favorite team? My favorite team is the Packers. Rodgers is meeting with the Jets today. He's such a tough guy to understand or figure out because it just every year it seems to be like he's this close to doing something else and then he just doesn't. Like, oh, he's so alienated. He hates everything that they're doing. He's like taking shots at the team and their roster construction on the McAfee show, and then he just comes back. 2 years in a row this has happened. And now I kind of think he'll go to the Jets, and here's why. Because Favre went to the Jets. And I think when he went to his astrology, darkness, like acid trip, I shouldn't be so belittling about it. I think that he's someone who very much cares about, or he seems like he would care about things like fate or things like patterns, like, and things like Favre went to the Jets. Now I have this opportunity to do the same thing. I think that would move him just as a person. That just seems like something that would make him tick or make him click and say, like, I am following in the footsteps of the guy before me.
Did he go to the Jets or the Vikings first?
No, he would go to the Jets and then the Vikings. But
Okay.
I don't think he would go to the Vikings. Well, maybe he would because the Kirk Cousins 1 year on the Jets and then go to the Vikings.
I
could fit up
think
with the
what
Kirk
really
Cousins
moves him
timeline.
is Garrett Wilson. Me personally, that would move me. I think the other big difference is that, like, I think the Packers are kind of done this year.
I would be, because it's the same thing. Like, let's
Like,
talk
sure
about
it
windows
has.
here. The window is over. Like, let it go. That thing is hanging by a thread. So it's time to reset the timeline. It really is. I know that there's been reports that the Packers are alienated by so many reporters. So many like Packers guys have been like, they do not want Rodgers back. But Rappaport today said they would welcome him back if he doesn't want to go. It's all up to him. If the meeting goes well with the Jets and he wants to get traded to the Jets and the Jets want to offer him the deal, the Packers will say yes. That's kind of what I hope happens. Like, look, dog, I love Aaron. Like, for everything that I say and for everything that he does, I love Aaron Rodgers. That guy, I mean, he's been the quarterback ever since I've been watching the team, and he's just amazing. But, like, let it go. It's the window's over. And he could either retire and finish his career in Green Bay. That would be great. You know, that would be an iconic career all in one place. Or we could get a first-round pick, and he could play the last somewhere else. I like the first-round pick idea better, but we're not winning a Super Bowl either way.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
would
just like-
be worried how much he pattern follows Brett Favre. You know.
Yeah, don't do it
Rodgers'
too
welfare
too
scandal soon,
much. But I think that he could
says.
find some. I think that it would move him slightly. That of all the teams, it was the Jet. Like, oh, Brett Favre went to the Jets. Now it's the Jets who want me. There's something beautiful about that, like parallel. That just seems like what.
And then
Rodgers
with
would
Jordan
do.
Love coming up behind him in sort of the same situation that
Yeah,
he was in.
yeah,
I
I
see
think
it. I don't think
I
you're crazy.
definitely
I
think
do
that
see
would
it.
move him, and I don't even think that's dumb. You know, there's something cool about that.
It's a little corny, but I like corny, so I'll let it slide.
Corny review.
Corny review. But the last quarterback is Geno.
W deal.
That be
It's front loaded.
Which he got
If
more.
he sucks,
deserved
then it's
more.
done. Yeah, I could have. I wouldn't have been mad if he got even a little bit more. I mean, I thought he was a top 10 quarterback this year. It's front loaded. He's making a ton of money this year, and if he sucks, he sucks. It's over.
Yeah.
If it was a 1 year wonder, it was a 1 year wonder. You can move off of him easily. Same deal, kind of with my deal with Daniel Jones is like this year you can give him a ton of money, and it's like who else are you spending it on this year in this free agency, right? Like who's the biggest name in free agency right now?
Right.
Odell. Like,
Off his like third ACL injury.
right,
Yeah.
like, who cares if you don't have any money this year?
Right.
No, there's no one. Deron Payne got franchise tagged. He was cool, I guess. I don't know. Saquon got franchise tagged. He was cool. Like, who are you spending this money on? Like, oh no, we can't sign anybody. Who are you gonna sign to make a super team? Lazard? No. I don't know.
Jacoby
Like,
Myers, baby.
Jacoby, Mac Hollins. I don't know.
Is Mac Hollins a free agent?
He is. He's a Packer too, because I was watching Derek Carr and he ran some nice routes. So Packer.
Mac Hollins is pretty good. He's like all right.
Do you
He's
like
all right.
Mac Collins?
Is he
I
on your
gotta think
fantasy
he's
team, Matt?
okay.
He's not a Packer then.
You like Matt Collins?
Unfortunately.
He doesn't like you, man. It's tough.
Need some reverse psychology out here, dude. Start saying you really hate Patrick Mahomes.
That's the wave.
Also, Ian Harditz is he used to do fantasy for PFF. I don't think he's working for them anymore, but he's tweeted out like the history of deals in free agency, at least for skill position players. And it's like wide receivers who have fetched over $30 million in free agency or something like that. The list is terrible. There's like one good name on there, and it was Allen Robinson when he originally signed with the Bears, and like Christian Kirk this year. But like overall, like that, it's just not an efficient way to really build a team through free agency because they're A, expensive, B, players that another team didn't want. So it's the least efficient. You have to do it. You do have to do it, but there's landmines all over the place. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fair.
We need to stay hot golf trip. I'd go golfing. Maybe I'll get into golfing more than I am.
It's fun.
I like
It's
golfing.
really
yeah.
it's tough though.
Do you ever go just by yourself, or do you always go with friends?
Oh, I always go with my buddies.
Okay.
I haven't been out in a while. I need to get out
You
to
should go.
get out to the
I don't have my
course.
gloves on me right now, but
Neither do I. They're in
somewhere.
Columbus. And your clubs are probably in Cincy.
they are. But I'll be back soon. A couple of weeks, less than that.
W. Where we Theo, you have to come to Ohio if we're gonna go golfing.
Well, golfing is better in Arizona.
Is that what they're saying?
You don't know
I
that.
think that's just common. I think that's just common knowledge. I think everyone comes to Arizona to golf.
No, they come to Cincinnati, I believe.
Well, actually, hold on.
Have you ever? I've never heard of the Cincinnati. I've heard of the Phoenix Open. I've never heard of the Ohio.
Isn't it the Waste Management Open?
Literally garbage, bro.
Phoenix? Well, it's in Phoenix. It might
Yeah,
be
but
the
it's
sponsored by Waste Management.
that's like imagine nah. All I'm saying is Columbus has the Memorial Tournament.
I don't know. Don't golf in Ohio. Easy money 1, 2, 3. We got KD in the chat. I agree. Ohio is the worst golf. Damn.
You don't know.
Golf knowers.
We're out here getting cooked,
The
Matt.
golf knowers know Ohio is not the place to be.
Let's go
I
to
don't
Miami.
golf, so I don't
Let's go to
know.
Miami and golf. That's
I'm going to Arizona to golf in 2 weeks. People come to Arizona to golf.
all right.
I know
Let me
that.
look up the best golf schools. Best golf schools
Cincinnati.
in the U.S. Cincinnati.
It's not gonna
The
fit
golfing
you.
it's fine here. I mean,
I mean,
there's some-
how
there's some
bad
nice
could it
courses.
be, right? It's like
All right.
It's cheap.
The best golf schools are Stanford, Florida, UNC, UCLA, Cal, Princeton, Georgia Tech, Yale, and Harvard. So it's like the fucking all the Ivy Leagues, and then
Florida.
all the Ivy Leagues, Florida, and and Cal, and like California schools.
It's nerds and Southerners.
Yeah, I was watching. I've been going to the gym, and every day they have the Darius Rucker Invitational, which is hilariously South Carolinian, and South Carolina was playing that, and they were winning the last time I watched. This was a few days ago. So shout out.
Fair enough.
Stay Hot University. Facts.
I don't think we have anything more.
I don't. Make sure you all watch Matt's video on quarterback landing
Yes.
spots. Just dropped, like literally just dropped. So make sure you all watch that. And yeah, that does pretty much wrap things up for us as always. From Corn Boy, Bird Boy, and Lemon Boy, we will catch you all on the flippity flop.